Hey everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing fantastic. Everybody take a nice deep breath in and relax. So today we would like to talk to you a little bit about your commitment to yourself. How are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to yourself? What's it like being committed to you? Or do you even give recognition to that? Right? Do you give any thought to you being committed to who you are? You have to give 200% to who you are. So we're going to talk a little bit about that first. If you have questions, you can type them in the question box and we'll try to get to them. We're going to try to do this weekly. If you like that idea, please let us know. Weekly events are something that we're trying to create and stick to, be committed to. So if that's an interest to you and you would love for that to happen, please let us know. So just, type in a yes or give me some thumbs up or whatever, however it works. I am thinking about doing these weekly on Mondays or Wednesdays. So if that also is an interest, I'd like to know if it's morning, afternoon, or evening. And then, of course, once we talk a little bit about whatever the topic is for that day with the channel or channel group, then we'll answer your questions. So today we're talking about your commitment to yourself. Here's how we work as human beings, as beings of love, beings of light here on this dimension in this reality, is that we are here and we are living in duality, what we believe to be duality, which is basically the separation or the belief that we have that we're separate from our God or goddess self. So in order to be committed to who you are, you have to be 200% committed to who you are. That means you not living in lack mentality, you not living in belief systems that hold you back, you not having a ball and chain to anything that isn't passion. Because when you're living passionately, you're living in joy, peace, and harmony with your soul and why you're here. So being committed to yourself, like, what does that look like? What does that mean? For me, this is what I can tell you is that for me, when I'm committed to 100% for me being me, that means that I'm living passionately. I teach. Like, that's my passion, is to teach and to help people and to be of service, not just to myself, but to humanity. Like, that's the reason that I'm here. So everything that I do, I try to align so that it works for that purpose, that's my big purpose in life now that I've created and hopefully will continue to create. So, but being 100% passionate about being here was one of the hardest things that I actually had to overcome. And I feel like people are sort of in that space right now. Like I work with a lot of people who are just sort of floundering around, like not really knowing who they are, why they're here, what's the purpose, everything in this world has a purpose. Every single thing has a purpose, including you. So we're working on tools, we're working on things that have worked for me in the past, things that I know that work for other people, and we're trying to bring those together so that we can give you tools to work through the energies, because the next 6 months, the energies are intense. So you being committed to who you are is the number one thing that has to be in your consciousness all the time. All the time. Because you're the only thing that's important here. You're the only thing that matters here in this moment and in this time. So you have to be 100% committed to you. What does that look like? For me, it's my practice. Meditation, I've increased my meditation time, and it doesn't look the same every single time. But for me, it's where I get my downloads. It's where I feel most at peace. It's where I can review my Akashic record, which is popping up all the time right now, clearing those things out and then like moving on with life. Then there's the food that I eat, which I've noticed has a huge, it's playing a really big component in my energy field right now. Like how excited I get, how passionate I get, how drained I am. My water intake has increased about 3 times because of all the DNA shifting that's happening right now. All the photon light that's coming in is taking its toll. So I've noticed that that's changed. So I'm trying to be hyper aware about what it is that I'm eating, who I'm around. I went out for a walk yesterday because it was just absolutely beautiful here. And like I didn't want to come home, right? I went out for a walk by the river and it was just so beautiful there. The geese were squawking around and it was fun watching them. But what I noticed was how quiet the world seemed. And generally the world doesn't seem quiet, especially if I'm tapping into consciousness of some kind. It's never usually quiet there. So I was surprised to notice how quiet it was. My commitment to myself is also using my superpowers, which for me, one of my superpowers is listening. Like listening to the quiet. What's the quiet about? Right? Which was really intriguing to me because usually the universe isn't that quiet. So committing to who you are, that's super important. Use the tools that I give you. Use the free tools. Use the ones that you pay for. Use whatever it is that makes you happy, that brings you something in return that's going to pull you into the upward spiral of who you are and why you're here, your purpose. So I hope that you have questions about that, because I really like to go deep. You know me. But you have to be vigilant. You have to be vigilant about putting yourself first, because this is why. As we leave and as we shift in our consciousness, we're leaving separation behind, right? We're leaving the thought form that says that we're separate from our God or goddess self. But when we aren't vigilant and we aren't committed to ourself, doubt sees that little tiny crack and it penetrates immediately. So your commitment to yourself has to be 100% all the time, 24/7. There's no breaks. There's no vacations from yourself. There's no vacations from who you are. I want you to feel that. Feel the depths of who you are, the magnificence, the God dimension that resides within you. That's what I want you to get used to. I want you to bring that out into the world. Bring your magnificence to the world, because the world needs you. Okay, we're going to go to questions. So if you have questions, please ask them in the box. Hey, Corinne, Teresa, Sandy, Debbie, Cindy. Wow, we have lots of people on today. Jessica, Connie, Angela, how are you guys? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Angela says, thank you for this. I needed to hear this so much. You're very welcome. And we heard your call. Not literally a call, but we've been hearing the calls. So Corinne asks, is this a time of realizations about ourselves? Absolutely. Like this shift in consciousness is all from moving outward to inward. Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? Right? Those are the questions that I ask over and over every single day. Every single day. because it's important, right? In order to shift my awareness, to shift my consciousness from seeking something out there, that seeking belief systems or connecting with belief systems out there, or thought forms, or whatever it is that resides outside of you, that's that crack of doubt that separation is really looking for, so that it can penetrate and create more doubt within you, so that you don't connect, so that you don't realize who you are, the magnificence of who you are, the beauty of who you are, that deep love that you know resides someplace, but maybe you can't feel it every moment of every day. Like, that's who you're returning to. That's the shift in consciousness. Yay, Corinne, she feels it. Thank God. Thank your goddess self, Corinne. Thank your goddess self for bringing it to your awareness, right? Like letting you feel it in every cell, every particle within you. Like, that's the magnificence of who we are. Oh, it's so fun. Brenda says, why is it so hard to put myself first? That's a good question. And it's probably a question that we all experience. I know I experienced it several times throughout my life, but I really experienced it when my purpose shifted. When probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago now, when my purpose shifted from me being here. My main purpose then was to let everyone know that the shift was actually happening, and that way showers would be stepping up to the plate, basically, to help with the shift in consciousness. And when that happened, like, I floundered around for 3-4 years. Didn't know what my purpose was. Didn't really have a purpose. Like, I did not put myself first. There are still days today when I don't put myself first. When I don't look inward for the answers. When I'm searching outside of me for the answers. Brenda, what I want you to know, and what I want you to do, is to not be hard on yourself. Not judge those times. Move with the energy. Be super conscious about the energy. Be inquisitive about what it is that you're moving through. Because when you're conscious about what it is that you're moving through on those kinds of days when you don't put yourself first, those moments when you're totally outside of yourself, that's when you become aware. That's when you can shift those thought forms. You can shift those emotions. You can shift those belief systems that are totally holding you back from living. Right? When we are stuck in the muck, we are not living. So what if you said to yourself every day before you got out of bed, how will I live today? That's a whole shift right in itself. How will I live today? Will I live putting myself first? I've talked before about doing the reset button before you go to bed. Do that. Before you go to sleep and you're laying in bed and you're, thinking about the day or thinking about something, push the reset button. And what I do is I just put it on my heart and I just say reset. Cells, reset. Emotions, reset. Belief systems, back to pure consciousness, reset. I demand it of myself. Because I don't want to carry on whatever I experience today to tomorrow. Because it doesn't work. That's where that crack of doubt comes in, and I don't put myself first. Right? So put yourself first. And don't question why you're not putting yourself first. Just make a decision to make it happen. Make it happen. You're the only one that can. Be in control of those thoughts. Be in control of your emotions. You're the one that's in control. Those thoughts are not controlling you unless you give your power to them. So put yourself first. If the thoughts are too much, start to write. I talked about this week in the group. If you're not in my group or Rise to Ascension, I ask you to join. But what happens to the physical form and to the thought processes when we write is it slows down the thinking. Then you can become aligned and you can choose which thoughts you're going to align with. If the thoughts are all sort of a downward spiral kind of thought, you can say, oh yeah, I'm not going to choose to align with this. I'm choosing to align with, I am God. I am love. I am compassion. You see how that can totally change and shift your conscious awareness? So that's the purpose of journaling. It really is. It's not just to torture you to write, but it's to help you align with what you're thinking about. Corinne says, I remember from when I was a kid, I've been trying to go back to that mindset. Yeah, because, through life, we get programmed out of it. And maybe it comes from your family, maybe it comes from society, maybe it comes from school, your religion, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, right? We're not going to blame and try to stay in that whole icky paradigm. Rather, move forward and say, oh, I remember that, because we're in a time of remembering. We are in times of remembering who we are, what we are. It's a great time to be alive. That's coming from me. It's a great time to be alive. Hello, Deb. Hey, Barbie. Anne, how are you? Deb says, so emotional the last 3 weeks. Yeah, that's the energy. When judgmental thoughts come in, I shut them down, also bringing myself out of victim mode, coming up so much lately. But are you actually moving out of them? You shut them down. So here's what happens when we shut down our thoughts. It's okay to shut them down as long as you're choosing something else that's going to pull you up into an upward spiral, right? When we totally shut down our thoughts that are attached to our emotions and we stuff them, those are going to repeat because they create their own little loop. That's that karmic loop that I've talked about before that helps you stay in that victim mode. So fantastic, Deb. If you are pulling yourself out of there and you're choosing different thoughts, it's exactly where you need to be. Hey, Cindy. Cindy says, I have glimpses of the magnificence and then have fear. How to get past the fear that I am powerful enough to create or destroy everything. Yes, because what happens when we actually remember and be our true magnificence? The fear comes because we have to actually step into the power of it. And with power comes responsibility. How am I morally going to be here on this earth with all of my thoughts, my actions, my emotions, my beliefs, my words? How will I be that pure conscious love in a place that believes in duality? So Cindy, choose, make a decision how you're going to be. That's committing to who you are, right? Like that's the whipped cream with the cherry on top, is when we make a decision and we commit to being our God or goddess self. There's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. All right, Pam, for me, it's remembering that I am a soul having a human experience. Anytime I feel fear, if I remember that, I can let the fear go. That's that's great. We are a soul having this human experience. We are not the body. We are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions, and we are not our beliefs. We are pure essence. Truth, compassion, joy, love. That's our birthright. All the rest are programs. All the rest are things that we've been taught to believe. The soul has no attachments to any of that. It's the humanness of us that have the attachments. Yeah. Great. Hey, Anna, Jade, how are you? Oh, Anna says, it's great to see your beautiful face. It's great to see you. How are you? You know, if you want to know somebody who has a commitment to change the world, Anna is one of those people. She's a school counselor and she's amazing. So Jade says, this is everything I need to hear. Oh, Jade. Fantastic. We've been hearing the cries, my team of mothers, light workers, light creators, whatever you want to call them. We hear the communication of unity consciousness and what people are experiencing. And sometimes we just hold space for you to experience it. But I'm being more and more drawn to get on and do these lives every so often. I would love to do them every day if that's even feasible. And maybe we will. You just never know what we're going to do. Or at least once a week at a minimum. So, but ask questions. If you're in the group, my Facebook group, which is Arise Through Ascension, ask questions in there, right? Don't be afraid to sit back. We're not here to work through these problems, through cleaning our Akashic record, through dealing with our emotions by ourselves. It's just not who we are. We are energy love bugs, literally, who on the other side of the veil work all the time with each other, help each other continuously. Yet here on earth, we feel like it's an inconvenience. So please ask the questions. When you need them asked, ask them. Teresa, hello. Oh, I'm going to go back to Jade's comment, and it says, I am having a really hard time with stuff. I think it's because I need to step up. I'm going to say that's true. Because what's happening with the energies of the world is that if you're not stepping up and being morally convicted to yourself, to humanity, to consciousness, then the energy is literally forcing us to do that. And if we're not doing that, there is pain and suffering involved. So I would agree, Jade. Join the ranks. Join the ranks, sister. Teresa, the more I interact with higher vibrational beings, the easier it is to commit to myself. That is very true. That is very true. If I had to keep my vibration high alone, I wouldn't be able to. That is, again, very true. Connection is important for me, even if it's online. Yes, that is very true. The other thing that I've really noticed lately is the vibration of the earth. If you live in a very low vibrational place where there's not a lot of water or mountains or trees or forests, the vibration is very, it can be oppressive and it can hold you back. When you go to places like vacations, for example, and you go to high vibrational places like that and you come home, there's a lull, right? Oh, why can't I hold that vibration? We have to become the vibration. And we do that through finding people and through going to places where the land helps you, supports you, right? And that's where we need to be supported by people who do that as well. So yes, Teresa, you're correct. Good job. Barbie, hello. How do I help my angry indigo child? Well, they come into this world with a certain amount of anger so that they can break down systems. So you have to ask yourself, what's your angry indigo child angry about? The morals of the world? That's pretty much what they're angry about right now. And they're doing an awesome job of breaking down systems, and they're speaking up. If you want to look to people, to some group, look to these younger people, the 30 and youngers, who are literally standing in the face of judgment, in the face of all the things that morally do not support humanity, and they're making a shift. Whether it's by words, by actions, however, they're doing it very peacefully, and they're doing it to change conscious awareness. Indigos are here for that purpose. So for them, some of them have to carry a certain amount of anger, but talk to them about what anger is. What's underneath the anger? Anger is not an emotion, it's a symptom of the emotions. So what are the emotions residing underneath the anger? Get to that point, Barbie, they won't be hangry anymore. Yeah, they won't be angry. All right, my loves, I will try to finish up some of these questions here, but I really have an appointment here in a couple minutes. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. And I'm going to start doing these every week for sure. I need to know what's convenient for you, mornings, afternoons, or evenings, Mondays or Wednesdays. So if you could pop that in the comments, I'd really appreciate it, because I want to be here for you, not for me. So take care, everyone. Commit to yourself this week, or at least today, or at least for 10 minutes, right? Whatever it is, it will lead to more. Because once you start giving yourself everything, then you have everything. Who else is there to give to? So we love you all. Have an amazing afternoon and evening, and we will see you again. Take care.